Hey guys, so I wanted to do a video on this. I don't know. I wanted to because it was so outrageous to me. I did write a post about it, but I wanted to talk a little bit about it on here. It's the Preston Davey case. I don't know if you guys have heard of it. It's a pretty recent case in the UK. It just, the person charged was sentenced. That's all done with. But that was when I heard about it. I don't know why, but I did not hear about it before then. And it's very, very disturbing. So I will just give that disclaimer. I'm going to try my best to avoid too much detail, but two fathers, they were a couple, they adopted a little baby boy, and they named him Preston Davey was his full name. They had been trying to adopt a child for a while and said that it was always their dream, to raise a child together. And it finally happened, and they were so excited. And I believe he was 9 months old when they got him. And, he was like 13 months when he passed away. And it just was disgusting, I guess, and baffling at how nobody seemed to catch this, because he was in foster care prior to going to these two men. He had a caseworker that would come out once a month, I believe it was, to check on the home environment, to check on the child, all of that good stuff. And every single time, the person said that things looked great. The baby seemed fine, and everything seemed okay. I just can't imagine that being the case. I just would have to wonder how hard she was actually looking, because these men, I believe both were involved, but one primarily was the culprit that we know of in terms of evidence. A lot was found on his phone, and I'm not even going to say their names because I just can't. They don't deserve it, and it's appalling what they did. So one of the fathers was held responsible. The other, there was some evidence that he was involved in some cases, but it wasn't enough to do, he wasn't convicted of the child's murder. So it all started when they brought in 13-month-old Preston. They rushed him to the hospital, and said that he had stopped breathing. And the hospital staff said that he was in cardiac arrest right away. And they started to work on him. They worked on him for about 15 minutes trying to do CPR, and it was nothing. There was nothing. And they said it was too late. And his father said that he was in the bathtub and that he fell under the water. He had this story that apparently in their bathroom, their bathtub and shower are separate but right next to each other. And he said that he put Preston in the tub in like a bath seat. I'm assuming he means like a baby bath seat, so he doesn't fall, which is confusing to me. And he decided to go take a shower right next to him, but then after that, he needed to go to his room to get his clothes. So he left Preston alone for that time for like for like a minute. And when he came back, he said he was like underneath the water, which, like I said, is confusing because the baby bath seats that I'm thinking of hold them there for, you know what I mean, for the most part. So I'm not exactly sure what he's referring to. But anyway, that's what he said happened, that he got him out right away, and he was having trouble breathing, but then he threw up on himself, but then he seemed okay, and just on and on and on, how, he thought he was fine. He didn't think that there was an issue, and he kept thinking to himself, like, thank God that it wasn't worse. And he said that then the baby, Preston, started to cough, so he started patting him on the back to help him. And when he did that, fluid came out of his nose that he thought was water. He says was water. And after that, he seemed really disoriented, not responding, so he rushed him to the ER. That was his story. However, doctors immediately noted upon them getting there that Preston was not wet. Not one bit of him was wet. Not his hair, nothing was damp, nothing. So that was odd to begin with. And then the fact that what he died of, they determined, was not related to water in the lungs. When they did the autopsy, they said he didn't have any water in his lungs, that he definitely did not die from, drowning in the tub, and that he died from basically somebody preventing him from breathing. They aren't positive how, but that essentially he stopped. He wasn't able to breathe. And it was found then, when they, obviously looked into this further and interviewed the men, got their phones, like they did a whole investigation, thank God. And they found tons and tons of videos on one of their cell phones. You would think it was like of cute videos, that everybody takes of their child, especially at that age, because they're changing so much and growing so much. There were a couple normal videos, of like one of Preston and his bouncer, I guess it was, and he was watching a kid show on TV and seemed happy. Another one where he was pulling down toys, stuff like that. But the rest were horrific. They were mean. They were disgusting. They were abusive. They were sexual. Yeah, it was bad. I mean, I just could not believe that somebody could do these things to a 13-month-old child that they, had wanted for so long and, just were raising. And I just can't believe it. And there were a lot of photos on his page, or on his phone, of his body parts, a video of the baby doing things to him, which makes you wonder, you know, in terms of how he died, it just makes you wonder. It makes you wonder what, I mean, I will just leave it at that and use your imagination. I don't know. It just seems like this is horrific enough that, like, I could see that happening, and maybe that's the explanation. But I just feel so bad for this poor little baby that just wanted a home. And then there was also, additionally, there were videos of, like, when Preston would actually be happy and laughing and stuff. His dad would ruin that, like, purposely. There were videos eventually of him yelling boo so loud that they said the people in the courtroom jumped when played the video, because the baby was, like, playing in the bath and happy and, you know, was in the bath with his dad, and that's what he did. Like, he yelled. Sorry, I thought someone was at my door. To scare him. He would prevent him from falling asleep, even though there were text messages of him complaining to everybody and their mom that Preston was a fussy baby, that he was spoiled from his foster mom, that he just was difficult, and just really things that you should not say about a child. I mean, I don't know where the confusion is. I don't know why they would think that babies sleep. Like, I'm not sure where they've been, but I mean, if you're trying that hard to get a baby, maybe learn some things about them first. I mean, the first one being you're not going to get sleep for a long time. So it's just like, but yeah, he would purposely keep him up then. Like, he would be trying to fall asleep and he would scare him and keep him awake. And I just really, really odd things, and it's just disgusting to me. And he just put on this whole show after the baby's death, like in the hospital, just completely falling over, screaming and crying and acting like he is having a breakdown. And all the while, like, they didn't know it at the time, the people there, the staff there, but all the while he was doing these horrific things, you know, like, it just makes me mad. But his partner, I believe, was charged with, like, negligence because he didn't protect the child. However, there is some evidence that there was, like, one picture found on his phone, I guess, that was questionable, but his DNA was located in a place where it shouldn't have been. I will say that. So I just don't know. I don't know what, it just so sad to me. Like, this baby just wanted a home, you know, and it's disgusting. But yeah, that is that story. Thank God that the monster got convicted and put away. It's just a shame that everyone found out too late how horrible of a human being he truly was. And it's a shame that, you know, little Preston isn't here with us today. Anyway, I will leave on that note, guys. Sorry, it was a pretty dark one today. So go look at something happy. Cheer yourself up. You know, we talk about some pretty crazy and dark stories on here. So sometimes you just need to go look at flowers, cuddle your kids, walk your dogs, whatever makes you happy, because you need a balance, obviously, in life. So I will leave it there, but please, 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 please follow, subscribe to my page on my other platforms, wherever you want to. I would really appreciate it. I'm really trying to grow my channel. I love what I do. It's a passion of mine, and I just want to be able to share it with as many people as I can, and get these stories out there that deserve to be talked about and known, for everyone to know their names. So if you could please do me a solid and do that, I'd appreciate it forever. I will be your best friend forever. I will love you forever. Okay? All right. Have a good day, guys.